Welcome to RCR Wireless News Weekly. This week we'll take you from Austin to New Mexico to Singapore, and we'll update you on a possible launch date for the iPhone 5. First, if you're an AT&T customer, you may soon be seeing ads for nearby restaurants and retailers on your phone. AT&T Interactive announced that it will soon bring local in-app ads to its wireless network. AT&T plans to serve up ads based on user location. The company piloted in-app advertising on its mobile local ad network earlier this year and says it generated 750 million impressions in just 3 months. AT&T says it has a significant inventory of local ads and is poised to revolutionize the mobile in-app advertising market. In other news from AT&T, the wireless heavyweight launched the first model of smartphone to carry a dedicated Facebook button on the keypad. AT&T Mobility is taking pre-orders for the Android Honeycomb-powered HTC Status, which was previously called the Cha-Cha. The HTC Status will retail for $50 with a 2-year contract commitment. The phone comes with a full keyboard, a 1.3 megapixel camera on the front, and a 5 megapixel camera on the rear. The phone's maker, HTC Corp., trades on the NASDAQ stock exchange under the symbol HTCXF. Now, if you're waiting for the latest version of the iPhone, you may have just about a month to go. A posting on Apple's recruiting website lists job openings for an exciting opportunity in retail stores starting August 16th. Now, since Apple has traditionally launched a new iPhone every summer, a lot of people are guessing that August 16th is the date. If you've ever wondered why your cell phone bill seems to creep higher and higher each month, you could be getting charged for services you never requested. The process is called cramming, and the Federal Communications Commission is taking note. The FCC has asked carriers to crack down on cramming, but the problem continues, so now the agency is drafting rules to address it. One rule would force carriers to tell consumers how they can let companies know they don't want the charges on their bills. One federal investigation estimates that cramming has already cost consumers $2 billion. Freescale Semiconductor announced a trio of new members to its IMX50 product line this week. The chips are part of Freescale's system-on-chip design and are meant for e-reader devices. Lisa Su, who runs Freescale's network and multimedia division, told RCR Wireless that 2011 is the year of the tablet.
There are lots of different devices. I think everyone's looking to differentiate the devices from, let's call it, a typical iPad-like device, and we see some very low-cost devices out there, as well as we see a lot of integration. We see similar platforms in tablets going into a lot of other spaces as well, in more industrial and service provider spaces. So I think the key is that there's tremendous potential, and the market size of this market is tremendously larger than, let's call it, the PC market. And so I think that's pretty exciting.
Tablets were the focus as the Austin chapter of Mobile Monday met recently at UT Austin. Mobile Monday board member Carlo Longino gave RCR's Mark Spear an overview.
Something innovative happened this week at the University of Texas. While meeting venues for the group often change, members of Mobile Monday Austin met at the AT&T Executive Education and Conference Center on Monday to discuss mobile technology.
Mobile Monday is a global group of mobile communities in a few hundred cities around the world that meet once or so a month to talk about issues in the mobile industry and what's going on in the world of wireless.
The focus of this week's event was tablet development, specifically with Research in Motion's BlackBerry Playbook device. Experts from RIM discussed program development, and local developers were on hand to show off their work.
We do applications for healthcare involving the secure transmission of data, whether that data is forms or files. We've got a new prototype that's about to go into pilot at several sites that does the receipt of referrals for hospice and home health.
For more information on future Mobile Monday events in Austin, go to mobilemondayaustin.com.
Mobile Monday groups meet around the world. Visit mobilemonday.com to find out if there's a group near you. Well, the southwest part of our country has of course been threatened by wildfires throughout this hot, dry summer. RCR's Mark Spear learned that wireless communications are making a terrible situation a little easier for New Mexico firefighters.
This is Mark Spear reporting on location in Los Alamos, New Mexico for RCR Wireless News. If you look behind me, you'll see some very large plumes of smoke. Now, that is coming from the Las Conchas fire, which is the largest in state history and is still raging across northern and western New Mexico. Crews are working around the clock to contain this blaze, and officials say the Las Conchas fire has devoured more than 150,000 acres, but is in the process of containment.
You know, the impact on the community is huge. We evacuated the community. The first day, it burned over 63 homes in the Cochiti Mesa, Dixon, Apple Ranch, and the Cochiti Pueblo. It burned some homes in that area. So it's been a devastating fire.
Investigators believe the fire was started after an aspen tree fell on some power lines near the Las Conchas camping area, igniting dry brush and spreading through gusty winds. Chief Tucker granted RCR Wireless exclusive access to survey damage. More than 4,000 firefighters have been called in to battle the wildfire, which has shifted directions towards Native American lands. The Los Alamos National Laboratory, birthplace of the atomic bomb, was threatened at one point, but has since been contained.
Pretty much this is the northwest side of the fire that you see on fire right now. The town is no longer under threat unless we get a significant wind shift.
Chief Tucker said the next threat for Los Alamos is from flash floods.
The fire dropped into the top into the bowl, and you can see just pretty much destroyed the entire hillside. So what's going to happen, our first consistent essential rains are going to come in here and drive all the soil and everything down into the town site, and underneath we have an ice rink down there that we'll probably lose just because of the flooding.
Rescuers are finally taking the upper hand in this ongoing battle because of proper communication between agencies and firefighters. One of those facilitating communication is Stephen Smith, who purchased a microwave backhaul system to provide a robust link for the nearby city of Santa Ana Pueblo.
This is an 18 gigahertz Exalt licensed frequency backhaul that we've got connecting this building with the main government building for the Pueblo of Santa Ana over across the river. My name is Stephen Smith. I'm an IT director for the Pueblo. I've been working with Jack Gorman at Access Technologies for a couple of years, and we came up with a plan and put the first leg of it into place a couple months ago.
It provides them with the IT connectivity, in other words, to get to the outside world, and also to communicate to the other government entities within the Pueblo over on the other side of the river. Up until that time, the connectivity wasn't that good, and they weren't able to do the things they can do now.
Smith told RCR how his wireless system became involved in fighting the Las Conchas fire.
2 Mondays ago, I got a call to rush up to this building that I'm standing on now to help the Forest Service deal with the forest fire that we had going on out at the Los Alamos area of New Mexico. I hadn't actually had a chance to do any real stress tests on this system, although everything looked fine. And so I was crossing my fingers when I hooked them up to our network and gave them access to our internet connection. I've had lots of challenges getting things going for the Forest Service, but this little beauty here, not a glitch, not a hiccup, just like being wired.
The Santa Fe Area Command is using the system to direct agencies on how to contain the blaze.
Prioritizing resources is our main function, and basically just making sure that when there's multiple teams working out in the field that are used to having one fire, that they're coordinating, making sure the different teams are communicating and coordinating.
Wireless communications systems will continue to support those on the front line until the Las Conchas fire is fully contained. Mark Spear, RCR Wireless News.
Firefighters and other public safety workers rely heavily on field equipment. And when we come back, we'll take a look at the latest field testing equipment from Anritsu. We all rely on public safety networks, and now California-based Anritsu is making those networks even better. RCR's Greg White has more.
Hi, this is Greg White from RCR Wireless. Today I'm here with Dave Summers from Anritsu, and he's going to show us some land mobile radio test equipment. Tell us what you have here today, Dave.
Hi, Greg. Today I brought in our Anritsu S412E LMR Master. It's our newest release in our handheld master series, and it's focused on field testing for public safety, utility, and private mobile networks.
Tell me about the features of the LMR Master.
Well, this unit combines 4 major pieces of test equipment into a compact, handheld, battery-operated test instrument. which vastly reduces the amount of test equipment the field technician has to carry with him. It includes a spectrum analyzer, a vector network analyzer, a power meter, and a vector signal analyzer with a vector signal generator integrated into it. Let's take a look at the signal analyzer. The LMR Master supports LTE, WiMAX, P25, digital mobile radio to include Moto Turbo, and NXDN formats. It's the only field portable analyzer that's capable of doing this. But for demonstration purposes, we'll look at the P25 analyzer. We have an eye diagram, a spectrum, a histogram, and also a summary, but each of these can be individually changed, enlarged to see the full display, or shrunken back down to see the quad display. You can also change the individual graph to either a constellation, spectrum, histogram, eye diagram, a linear constellation, or the summary display. The key information that the technician would be looking for is here in the summary, which is your receive power, your frequency error, modulation fidelity, your BER, symbol deviation, NAT code, and your symbol rate. So this feature allows the technician to not only test the signal strength of his RF signal, but also its quality, which is typically measured in EVM or BER. So one of the key features of the signal analyzer functions is that we can take those measurements and tie them to a GPS tag and then display them on a Google Earth map. This allows us to show the coverage mapping of the system from any location. So let's go take the LMR Master to the field and collect some data. So we've turned the GPS receiver on the instrument, and we've gone over to our P25 coverage, and we'll insert our USB device. And now all we need to do is drive around, and we'll turn our log data on, and all the data will be streamed directly to the USB device. So as you can see, the signal analyzer is recording both the signal strength and the BER, and it's tying it to a GPS tag and streaming it right to the USB device. That way we can pull the file and upload it to our PC easily and see the display on a Google Earth map.
Hey David, let's take a look at what we got today on that run.
Alright, so I pulled the USB stick off of the instrument. We'll insert it in the PC and we'll open it up. We have a user file on the USB device with the date that we collected the data, and we will open it up. It pulls up Google Earth and it'll zoom right into the location where we were mapping. So the push pins on the screen indicate where each of the measurements were taken. They transition from green to yellow to orange to red based on how the signal degrades with the location. Also, if you go and put your mouse and click on the push pin, it also gives you the BER and the modulation fidelity recorded at that location.
As the land mobile radio industry transitions from traditional analog FM to advanced digital radio systems, the need to verify proper system performance becomes increasingly critical. In order for these advanced radio systems to work properly, factors such as bit error rate and modulation fidelity must be considered. As we've seen today, the Anritsu S412E LMR Master is an excellent tool for this type of analysis. For more information or to request a demo, go to anritsu.com. I'm Greg White. Thanks for joining us here at RCR Wireless.
When we come back, we'll look at jobs growth around the country and hear what Central Texas is doing to attract employers. Texas boasts 3 of the 5 fastest growing cities in America when it comes to job growth. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Texas Workforce Commission, Dallas had the highest rate of job growth for the year ended in May. Growth was 2.5%. Milwaukee was next at 2.4%, followed by Seattle at 2%. Austin and Houston were tied at 1.8%. Austin hopes to add even more jobs in the year ahead. RCR's Mark Spear sat down with Dave Porter from the Greater Austin Chamber of Commerce to learn more.
Hi, this is Mark Spear with RCR Wireless News. I'm here with Dave Porter, who is Senior Economic Development for the Austin Chamber of Commerce. Dave, how you doing today? It's
Good,
nice to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about what's going on in the technology economy nationwide and how that relates in areas like Texas and Austin.
You know, being in this global recession the last few years, even the tech sector, actually Austin, we've had our 2 best years in terms of companies, tech companies looking at Austin for relocation or expansion.
Where are you recruiting from primarily?
Well, we've had, I think so far this year, we've had 15 or 16 companies announce relocation or expansion. A lot of these are coming out of California.
Now, what are they looking for when companies that are high-tech, like in the semiconductor area, when they're coming to Austin, what do you sell them on?
Austin is the 6th most educated workforce in the country, meaning we have about 38% of our workforce has a 4-year degree, but only 22% of our jobs require that. So we have this huge underemployment opportunity.
Can you tell me a little bit about the startup community here? I know that I find startups left and right.
You know, first of all, the atmosphere, the environment here in Austin is very conducive for business startup. It's ranked as probably the 1 or 2 most popular place to start a business because of some of the reasons you mentioned. We have VC, we have talent, you have people coming out of UT that don't want to leave, or you have people being laid off that don't want to leave and they could start their own job or start their own company here. So the Chamber has a number of different things. For example, we reestablished the Central Texas Angel Investor Network a few years ago. Angel investors are very important besides VCs.
Can you tell me, if you know, just some of the numbers that are going on right now with Austin, how it compares to the rest of the nation or in Texas as a whole?
You know, for a while, we were the only, during the worst part of the recession, we were the only ones with a positive job growth number in the top 50 metro areas. And now other cities are catching up, so their job growth is probably a little higher, but we're in the top 5 in terms of job creation. Over an 8 to 10 year period, we're probably number 1 on a percent basis of job growth. So, you know, I think that, you know, again, Austin has done very well.
Jobs are also on the rise in Singapore. When we come back, we'll take you there to learn about the expat lifestyle. If your employer offered to send you to Singapore, would you go? RCR's Sylvie Barak visited the tiny country with the huge reputation as a great place to work.
Though Singapore is one of the world's smallest countries, it packs a big punch on the food, shopping and entertainment front. From the shiny new shopping malls of Orchard Road, to the happening hawker centres, to the dozens of discos, pubs and restaurants, as well as a proximity to an assortment of other Asian countries, there's plenty to do all year round.
It's a booming place to live, very cosmopolitan, always something happening, always something changing. And I'd say generally a very dynamic place to live.
Chances to vacation in Bali and Thailand and interesting places like that, very easy from Singapore. It's only an hour and a half to Thailand. It's a couple of hours to Indonesia, to some of the greatest beaches in the world.
In terms of its population, Singapore is also extremely diverse, boasting a foreign population of 40%, making it an expat haven. Indeed, few Asian cities are as well-ordered, safe, foreign language friendly and multicultural.
It's always ready to change with the times, to be honest. When I came here 18 years ago, it had quite a bad rap. It was kind of considered a police state, and you know, it was always associated with caning and chewing gum. I think it's kind of lost that now, and I think the image that Singapore's got now reflects the people that come here and spend a lot of time here.
There's so many subsidies here. Public transport actually works. The cost of food is much lower than you think. The travel is cheap. The ability to go and build a low-cost operation in a region is great. I'm building an operation in Indonesia at the moment. I'm out to hire 40 people. I'm going to spend 15 grand a month on that.
You know, as I settled down here, there are quite a lot of ways to meet expats here and to meet with the local people, especially in Singapore. Since everyone speaks English, it's quite easy for you to acclimate and get to know people.
With its bright, clean, tree-lined streets, abundance of shops, fantastic food, excellent education system, and healthcare services, Singapore far outstrips any other expat country of choice, except maybe Japan.
Why? Why move here? Why would you think to come to a tiny little island so far away from home? What drove you here?
Women. It was actually my girlfriend at university was Singaporean, and she suggested in 1993 that I come out here and see how the media industry is and try and contribute. That was my speciality, and I did come out with a suitcase and a smile, a couple of $100, not much else, and I've been here for 18 years.
If you look at tax deductions, so in the United States, you get deductions for all kinds of weird things. Here, very, very few deductions. But the one you can count on is charitable giving. If you give to a charity, they give you a deduction at twice the amount that you gave. So it tells me this government cares about the people. They want to encourage people to come here, and they'd like you to stay.
Despite the global recession, Singapore's government has continued to express its need for foreign talent, which means the expat population continues to grow.
In Silicon Valley, if you want to pull somebody over on a visa, get one of the H-1 visas, it's a long, multi-year drawn-out process. Here, when a company of the stature of Singtel said that they wanted to sponsor me, within 1 week, I had my approval from the government to obtain a work pass.
Whether you prefer to call it an island paradise, a business hub, or just plain home, Singapore will always be something special to its citizens and those who choose to live there.
A common expat posting is 2-3 years, so it's a bit of a downside. You meet people, you get to know them, and then they leave, and you may not see them again. On the other hand, there's a lot of people like me who came for 2 or 3 years, and 15 or 20 years they're still here.
Thank you so much for joining us this week. We hope to see you next week for RCR Wireless News Weekly.